Yeah, I'm Aliza McKeigue. I'm the founder and facilitator of Root Rise Therapeutic Horticulture. And so today we're going to I'll just do a really brief intro to what Root and Rise is, and then we'll go into talking about the practice of Shinrinyoku, also known or in English translated roughly as forest bathing, and the benefits of that. And then we'll do about a maybe 10-minute guided imagery so you can experience it, and then wrap up if anybody has questions. So yeah, as Joy introduced, the mission of Root and Rise is to cultivate social, emotional, physical, and spiritual wellness through creativity and interaction with nature. The vision, which I feel really does truly align with Vibrant Hawaii, is to create inclusive, universally accessible opportunities to connect with nature and the arts for healing and growth, and to utilize sustainable practices and design, whether that's in landscaping and garden design or design of the sessions we facilitate, in order to preserve and honor the earth. And lots of different ways I can offer services. Sometimes it can be at your site. So if you have a program, or if you're an individual who wants therapeutic horticulture services, I can come to you. We also have forest space in South Kona, so we're sort of cultivating that. And then also meeting at public parks and county parks, things like that. I've done sessions. And Root and Rise is really for anybody who feels they would benefit from interaction with nature and the arts. And here's just a list of some special populations that I work with also. And yeah, just everything that we do is really goal oriented, and it's very specific to the needs, strengths, and preferences of the participant. So that's just a framework of what Root and Rise is, but we'll just jump into today's sort of introduction. So the term Shinrinyoku, it's a Japanese term, and it comes from the ancient tradition of essentially fully immersing oneself in the forest and being very present and intentional and mindful. Usually it's like a 3 or 4 hour time spent in the forest. I'm sure there's longer times that people have done that also. But yeah, it's this full sensory immersion where you're mindfully activating all of your senses as you move through the natural environment. And by doing this, you're really putting your body before your mind, which in our day and age, with so much busyness and all that we're doing, sometimes this can be challenging. But yeah, the term, while this is an ancient tradition, in 1982, the National Forest Authorities in Japan suggested advertising Shinrinyoku as to the public as a way to prevent disease and illness. So now it's officially recognized as a method of disease prevention and as a supplement to treatment for a lot of chronic illnesses and such. So this is really implemented in the hospitals and studied at the universities. They call it forest medicine. I just love that. And yeah, the idea behind it too is that there's this passive engagement in your surrounding, and it's good for you, not necessarily because you're hiking and you're walking and you're being active, but it's that you are really just like absorbing your surrounding and you're taking time to do that. And what I really love about this too is that it can be hopefully accessible to everybody, no matter your physical state, no matter your economic what's going on financially or who you are. I believe it's a human right for all of us to have access to nature. I think fortunately for us who are in Hawaii, that's pretty commonplace and accessible for us. But people in urban areas, it's maybe not so much. But yeah, even if you're elderly or if you're in a wheelchair or if you're blind, like these being somewhere and just being present, that's something that we can theoretically all do. So let's see, next slide. Okay, so some of the benefits of Shinrinyoku. there's obviously the very like westernized science way of viewing that. So I'll kind of jump into that, but I don't want to forget that humans have known that being in nature is good for us and it's necessary for our survival. So there's definitely the two sides of it. And also, like, disclaimer, I'm not Japanese and it's not in my tradition, and I'm not by any means trying to like own this or say this is something I've grown up with or known. But when I realized how good it was for me to be in the forest, and not only the forest, but meadows and the ocean and just like really in nature, I was like, oh, this has got to be something. So I kind of did some research and found that, yeah, this is something that has been, in an ancient tradition and used throughout. So yeah, some of the medical and the science behind it, there are things called and I'm not a doctor, but there are things called, or a scientist, terpenes that are released by trees and plants into the air. And terpenes are these like bioactive substances, and they're found to strengthen the immune system and lower stress hormones. And so in a place like the forest, these terpenes are in high density. So that's kind of where that comes from. And yeah, there's specifically these anti-cancer terpenes and these natural killer cells, which are a special form of white blood cells that help remove viruses from the body, prevent cancer, and fight existing tumors. So yeah, there's this really great book called Shinrinyoku, Forest Bathing, and I recommend it to everybody. It kind of goes into this, but yeah, lots of research recently about why forest bathing is helpful. So yeah, it can improve our immune system. It reduces and prevents hypertension and coronary artery disease. Being within the forest too can like decrease our experience of allergies and reduce the probability of respiratory disease also. It also helps to regulate mood disorders and reduce stress. One example that comes to mind, I saw a study talking about how there's fewer instances of schizophrenia in rural areas. And so there is some link to, people feeling better in more rural areas. Being in nature can also balance symptoms of ADHD, and just generally it increases mental relaxation and sort of increases our ability to feel grateful and to feel selflessness and sort of outside of ourselves, when we can really all relate to that idea of like, or that feeling of being in awe of something in nature. So those are just kind of quickly the benefits, so much more about that, but yeah, now we'll just get into the meditation. So I'll ask you to, I suggest, and I invite you to turn off your cameras while I'm narrating this guided visualization. And again, all that I do with Root and Rise, it's always goal oriented. So the goal of this is to experience stress reduction and relaxation, and hopefully give you a skill that you can take away and use anywhere. So you can turn off your camera, find a place to sit comfortably. You want your feet kind of flat on the floor, and shoulders relaxed. And let's see, just some other things about, meditation. I don't know how familiar we all are with this, but if thoughts and feelings start to come into your mind, or if you kind of get strayed away from the narrative, always return to your breath or the words that I'm speaking, but your breath is your anchor. And so you can always come back to that place. And also when I'm talking about breathing deeply, I'll say, make sure you're just continuing to breathe naturally. So do take a deep breath within the rhythm of your own natural breath. And if it's hard, that's okay. Like it's a practice and it takes practice. So try not to judge or criticize yourself in this. So just go to this page, and I'm going to try the audio. Shoot. just trying to put on some soothing noises in the background. So can everybody still hear my voice okay? Now nobody's cameras are on, but if you cannot hear my voice, okay, let me know. So you can close your eyes and imagine you're standing at the edge of a forest. You see a tree line where the forest begins only a few yards away. Just on the other side of the tree line, you see a trail. So you walk towards the path and enter into the woods. Look around you. The light in the forest cascades down through the leaves in a soft spray of light, and it's golden. The layers of the forest have various textures. You look down and you see the undergrowth, and it's soft and green, and it's catching the dew. There are delicate ferns and spongy moss, and there's small growth, little vegetation reaching up toward the light. Look down again and notice the earth your feet are standing upon. Draw a deep breath in and feel the cool forest air fill your lungs, your belly, your pelvis, and allow that breath to move throughout your limbs. Release that breath when it feels natural and ease your body. Your feet are still on the ground. Look up toward the sky. The upper canopy of the trees covers you like stained glass roof overhead. The green leaves against the light blue and white sky create a soft glowing ambient light. The dappled light is gentle and soothing. Look around. Each tree is unique in its shape, size, color, and aura. You notice the ohia blossoms speckling the trees. The blossoms are a range of reds, and the soft flowers are catching sunlight. Birds sing, and you see a few flutter from branch to branch. Now bring your gaze back to eye level and continue to walk forward on the easy path, being mindful of your feet on the ground. One foot in front of the other. You are tall and strong like the trees. The forest feels alive and lush, but also safe and comforting. You are held right here, right now. You feel protected by the greenery lining the path. You look down and you notice the rich soil and the exposed roots along the forest floor. There are small plants and large, settled stones that remind you to be present. The path you are walking upon winds down a slight hill and curves. It's well trodden and you continue to follow it. It feels easy to walk upon. So you round a corner and you see a stream. Its width is about 4 feet and it's flowing steadily but very gently. You think there must be a waterfall off somewhere. You continue toward the stream, admiring the large trees and the different types of bark on each tree. Some trees have rough bark that see through, and some have smooth bark. Some have light bark and others are dark. So bring your awareness to the sounds surrounding you. Maybe you recognize some of the birds. The bird songs are now layered with the soothing sound of the stream. As you hear the stream, you can hear the rippling sounds of the water getting louder in a very constant rhythm. You see the rocks just under the surface of the water, and the water swirls around and pours over. The air feels fresh and alive and refreshing. Breathing this air makes you feel healthy, cool, and present. Sunlight peeks through and spreads over your body for a moment of warmth. You welcome this feeling. Just to the side of the stream is a large tree that has fallen over. You can tell that the tree has been resting there for many years. So you decide to sit upon the fallen tree to witness this moment. And it's the perfect height and the perfect size, so you can sit comfortably resting on the ground. And just listen. Breathe in and breathe out. After you rest for a while, enjoying your surroundings, you open your eyes. You decide that you're ready to get up and leave. Before you rise, take a slow, deep breath in and out. Now you're ready to go on your way. So you see the path that brought you here. And you start back up that gentle hill and around the bend, one foot in front of the other. As you walk back slowly, many of the ferns, the trees, the rocks, the roots seem familiar. A feeling of safety, peace, and comfort for your whole being. You feel light as you move through the forest along this path, and it's effortless. You see the entrance you came from. You stop and linger for a moment, feeling gratitude for the forest's existence and acceptance of you, just as you are. Thank yourself for taking this time. Thank all beings that were in this forest, from those deep within the soil to those way in the canopy and beyond. Finally, you exit the forest and see yourself in a bright field, showered in warmth and light. You all can open your eyes and return your awareness to your current place. And take a few minutes just to a few moments to integrate this experience, and then we'll close up. When you're ready, you could turn on your cameras if you want. And so I think I'm close to being out of time, but here is just a little, we can send out the slides. Here's some resources. And you can find me easily on the internet or wherever. So thank you all for trying that out.